Hello everyone, Nilta here. Welcome back. Greetings from Melbourne, where the weather is very cold now. It's winter, and where lockdowns last forever. We are in our fourth lockdown. Anyway, I've got a lot to go through today. I've got 8 sound demos by request, and the very first one is this one here, this guitar here, which is a very interesting guitar. It's got a wonderful past history I'm going to tell you about later. But first, I'm going to play you a couple of notes. So, Kurosawa concert guitar model number 1. Now, it's got a cedar top, solid top. The back is Indian rosewood, I think, not Brazilian. Brazilian's got it's slightly darker, so it's Indian. The fretboard is ebonized rosewood on the bridge as well. And what can I say? Made in Japan. And okay, and I've got a few questions by a few people. It's like, how do you know? Made in 1968 in Japan, and that's the reason that the question people ask. How do you know it was made in 1968? You know, and in the early days when I was young, I shook my head and said, how do you work it out? How can you tell it was made in such a year? Well, it's got some clues. It's like, imagine you see this car, you live long enough to see every model, every car, and we ask you to date it, and you can tell from the design what period it belongs to, from the color, because color go in and out of fashion, from the tires, because the company tire company makes certain model of tires and we change it, from whatever elements which is in there, like lights and decorative elements such as seats and so on, the trimming, all that. Now this guitar has got a few clues, and some people say, Neil, please don't get offended if I ask you a question. I said, no worries, if you don't know, I'll tell you the answer. I don't get offended, I just share my information, my knowledge freely. Okay, so how can I tell this is a 1960s guitar, first of all? Okay, first of all, the rosette. Now, most of the makers don't make their own rosettes. Very few make their own rosette, but most of them just buy a rosette and install it. That's the 1960s rosette. Second, the bridge here. See the pattern here? Oh, a bit dark, can't see. Okay, let me move back there. Well, you can see my website anyway. The bridge there. The motif design there is very typical of the 60s. Now, if it's a fashion, in the 70s, they got rid of this, except for Yamaha. Most of the company just use the natural grain of the wood to embellish it, such as let me see, something like let me find 1970s guitar. Okay, this one for example. Okay, this one here. See? Alright, here we are. So, oops, don't fall. 60s, all the flowery things, embellishment in there. 70s, they got rid of that and they start putting just the white perfume there with the wood in the middle. That is just fashion, okay? And all the way to now, some guitar makers don't even put the perfume, just put straight wood there, or 2 different pieces of wood, or 3 pieces of wood to make it nice. But they want to highlight the grain, the wood grain, so let the wood make the guitar stand out rather than use the decorative things there. We'll put this one back. Now, the other thing is, this demo, it turned out to be like history lesson more than some demo. Anyway, The other one is one of the things that guitar makers don't make, the tuning machines. You can tell the tuning machine what the period of the guitar. Then at the back here, something very interesting. The herringbone. Typical of the 60s. 70s, they got rid of the herringbones. Again, fashion-wise. And they introduced straight lines. See? Straight lines as opposed to herringbone. Yeah? So 60s, 70s. Now, in the early 60s, like 63, 64, they will put this herringbone up here too. From here down to here. So if you see a guitar which has herringbone and headstock, most likely it's from the 60s. Yeah? All good there? Okay, let's see. What are clues we get? Now, sometimes you can get the clue from the frets as well. The suppliers in the 60s, early 60s, the frets were very thin and shallow, and they got bigger and bigger and wider as the year went on until we got to jumbo frets. Then stuff such as something you pick up, like the color, how old the varnish is, the polish is. Yeah, you can tell the clear coat will age after a certain time. It will age, it will be cloudy and it will become opaque. Okay, so you can tell from the color how old the color is, or the smell of the wood. Smell it. All wood smell different from new wood. Yeah. Now, the last clue in this guitar of how old this guitar is on the label itself. Sometimes this all sort of numbers don't make sense at all. Don't make any sense to us, but to the manufacturer it does make sense. Okay, in the 60s, the Japanese people were just starting to get their act together, to work together, and to standardize a numbering system. Although we were do it on their own, they sort of go to the trend of putting the year, the day, and the month. Okay, so the color of the label is first it's got a stamp. Second is you can tell it's very old paper, and the number on it are 8. Okay, I'm going to backtrack a bit. Okay, in the early 60s, the Japanese retailers, they just wrote down any number just for them to remember when it was made, not for the consumer. And they would put the digit of the year, the second digit. So, for example, 1964, they would get rid of the 4. What's the point of putting 4? Because they don't expect to make it more than 10 years. So 1964 would be a 4. And then some of them would do the day, which is like lucky number 13. And then the month, so it's April. Some of them put 04, others just put 4 because they remember. Okay, there's no point putting 04 because it's only 12 months a year, right? So let's say, so if the serial number was 4, 1, 3, what the year did I say? Say number, what was that? So 4, 1, 3, 4 again. Okay, so it would be 1964, the 13th of April. Some other people did the other round, which is they got rid of 6, they put a 4, put the month first, just 4 or 04, and the date. So this one here is 8299. Now I won't tell you what year it is. You guys work it out from the clues. The pattern on the bridge, the rosette, the herringbone, the number I gave you on the label, which is 82299. What year, what day would it be? Okay, I think you guys smart enough to work it out. Anyway, this is a wonderful guitar. Let's do some demo first, and then I'll give some more history. Okay, so let's do with the harmonics. So the harmonics come out nicely, very easy to play, and not just your standard harmonics, 12, 7, and 5th, but all the harmonics as well. and I work this guitar with the handset. I'll show you. So 12 frets, easy, easy harmonics. Then we got the 7th, easy, 5th, easy, 4th, and 3rd. Come down nicely. Now you try your guitar at home and see if you can get it. Yeah, not just on the big string, but even the most difficult harmonics are on the E string here. Okay, so 12, 7, 5th, 4th, 3rd. Yay! Wonderful guitar, nice and bright, and the sustain goes on very well. The basses, let's try the basses. Yeah, you can get all sort of color from the bass. Treble, same thing. Dynamics, I'm not sure you can hear it softly. And loud. I hope it's not distorting. Okay. So we did harmonics, we did the tone, the sweet and bright. So this does wonderful top end. And nice bass, good bass. Let's combine it, say. Oops. Excuse the mistakes, a bit cold here. Do you hear a difference? The bright is opposed to the still up register but still warm. Yeah? Nice and warm. It's opposed to bright. Was yeah, okay. So let's go where it makes money. Here, this is where most guitarists play, most musicians play. Yeah. This is what pays the bill down here, not up here. depends what you do. Anyway, okay. So some arpeggio. Okay, again, the warm way. how bright. Sorry, I can't play bowling stuff. My mind just go off and play stuff. Okay, so what I was gonna show you. She was joking me. Yeah, the other question is from my would-be buyers. Why your guitar more expensive than other sides? And well, for other people, two reasons. First, they have been selected. No two pieces of wood is ever the same. You get two pieces of wood, look at it, it's different, and they sound different. I buy a lot of guitar, used to buy a lot of guitar, not anymore now. I will sell the not so good one and keep the best one. So this is the last ones of my collection. Yeah. So they are selected. You can get, I can show you later. I've got a few guitars with same model, same year, everything, and it's all sound different. You've probably seen it from my other videos as well. Anyway, so I would sell the cheaper one, not the cheap one, the not as good one, and keep the best one. So these are all selected, the best of their model. Second reason, I work on them, I modify them, I tune them. I tune the harmonic top. This is the harmonic top. This is where all the sound comes from. Yeah. And most guitars, except if you're in the $10,000 range and above, the top is tuned to a note or a chord. Many others are not tuned. Okay, so I buy them, I modify them, and tune them. Example. Okay. What note is that? There's two notes there. Can you hear it? It's an A. Oh. It's an A. Okay, there's also a second note, but I won't show you. If you can't hear that, you can hear the second note. Yeah? Now, listen. Let's find another note. There's another note. What note is that? It's a C sharp. So we've got two notes there. A. Okay, already you start to work out what chord it is. Let's find another note. That one there. La 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 la. What note is that? It's E. La 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 la. La 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 la. A, C sharp, E. Right? A, C sharp, E. Oops, sorry. Oh, oops. Nothing. What chord is that? A, C sharp, E. You guys are clever enough to work it out. It's the chord of A major. What does it mean? Hear it? It vibrates to the chord of A in the key of A major. So anything you play in the key of A major is fantastic. Doesn't mean you can't play any chords. You can play D. D here is A. Has all the harmonics of the A major. Right? Okay. Now this is A major. This is the reverberation, resonance. If it was to go down one key lower, hear it? So A, G sharp. Can you play G sharp? Yes, of course you can play G sharp or any other key, but it won't sound as good as an A or A sharp. Yeah. Now, top guitarists make a choice. We ask the leader to tune the top to a certain key or chord, depending on the song we're playing, on the kind of music we're playing. The question is, why would you do that? But the answer is, would you rather play on a guitar which is not tuned, so it doesn't sound good in any key at all, or on maybe half the harmonic spectrum? 50% is better than 0%. Right? So A, the top is tuned to A, and that's why my guitars are better and more expensive. You do it on your guitar at home. If you can hear the notes, tap and hear the notes. If you can hear notes, then any guitar is fine. Even a $50 guitar, $500 guitar would do. You can hear the difference. Yeah. Anyway, so this is our Kurosawa guitar number 1, and the history behind it is this. Okay, this is the storytelling. I feel like grandpa now. This one's keep rattling. Okay, let's play something before I tell the story. Otherwise, it's just to make it more interesting. Okay, so the history of this guitar is very interesting. Okay, so one day I went through the second-hand papers and online and saw this guitar. I said, wow, that's amazing. That's an amazing looking guitar. So I rang up the guy and I said, hi, is the guitar available? He said, yeah, it's available, but I'm not home. But if you want, I can ask my brother, who's about to leave, to put the guitar on the porch, on the couch there, and you can come check it out. If you like it, slip the money under the door. So I went there, and from distance I hear a big bark from huge dog. As I approached, I saw this huge dog inside the house, inside the fence. And I said, there's no way I'm going in. So I rang up the guy and said, hey, listen, there's a dog here. I said, oh, it's harmless, nothing, it's just a puppy. So, yeah, your puppy is big as Scooby-Doo. It's a great thing. And so, don't worry, let me talk to him. So the phone, yeah, talk to the dog. Anyway, whatever. I braced myself and then opened the gate fence. With a puppy, small puppy. Good boy, stay there, good boy. Approached the door, and on the couch there was this guitar sitting there. I took a look at it and said, oh my god, that is what I thought it was from its design. Right? I knew straight away. Look inside, it's a Kurosawa concert guitar number 1, the first model made by Kurosawa. Check out my website to find out who Kurosawa was. So I took my money out, put the money under the door, and walked away. Bye, puppy. Came home, fixed it all up, and loved to enjoy the sound. Nice and bright, beautiful. Now, the sound is different from other guitars. It's different from modern guitars. I'll show you later. The modern guitar are sort of clinical, sterile. This one here has been shaped, or it's old, or it's aged, so it's got that something special about it. It's got the harmonics behind it. It's just like if you compare it to microphones, if you do recording, this is like a tube microphone, while the new guitars are like condenser microphones. Anyway, went home, and then COVID came to visit us, and I had to close my school. And to make ends meet, I put my baby in the market, most of my babies. And then one day, and I put on eBay as well. And one day I got a message from Rodney, who is a luthier here in Melbourne. He lives down in Mornington, the Mornington Peninsula, and say, "Hey Neil, I think you might appreciate some information about Kurosawa." I said, "Yeah, okay, tell me." "Well, I used to be one of the owners." I said, "Wow." Okay, so he started his story. Now, this guitar belonged to a very famous musician in the 80s. I'm gonna put this back, choking me. This musician was playing on radio in Shepparton. The radio was 3SR radio, Shepparton. And he would play every week. So if you're in Shepparton and you grew up in the 80s and you happen to listen to classical music, this is the guitar. Okay. So anyway, that famous musician, who I don't know the name, I haven't asked Rod, passed away. So he left it with a widow. Now, Rod went to buy this guitar in Shepparton from the widow. Took it back home and learned guitar, tried to learn classical guitar from a guy, his name was Paul Woolley something. He's according to Rod, he's a very famous or popular musician here in Melbourne, Paul Woolley. And Paul was saying how beautiful the tone of this guitar was, the volume and all that was. And then for some reason, Rod wanted to buy a Martin. So he had to finance the guitar. So he sold his guitar to a second-hand or backyard dealer in Frankston. I think Rodney didn't know the value of the guitar and how precious it was. Maybe he knew, but he needed money. He wanted a Martin. Anyway, so what happens is that years later, this young guy who I bought the guitar from went to do some work as a handyman at this house, a widow's house. And this guitar was sitting there in the corner of the room, just sitting there. So the young guy asked me, "Can I have the guitar if you're not using it?" He said, "Yeah, have it, take it." So I took it away and he just put it on his gum tree, and then there it is. That's the journey from 1968 up to here. Yeah, sad to see it go. Irreplaceable. This is Kurosawa concert guitar number 1. Any more questions? Shoot me a message. Check out the link. You find all information about it. Cheers. Stick around for the next demo. I cut it, otherwise it'll be too long. Cheers.